yes, oh, it's finally happening. Finally, yes, my dream of...
Goldblum?
What? Why are you here? Why are you awake? And why are you in the bridge?
I can't sleep, Goldblum.
Oh, well, try harder. Go back to bed and...
I don't know what it is. I'm definitely tired, and I'm definitely not stressed out about anything besides the economy and getting older and the fact that we're alone in the endless vastness of space and the fact that they're rebooting Power Rangers.
I'm sure if you go back to bed and rest your eyes, you'll drift off. Now head back up to...
You know, there was actually a time I enjoyed being up all night.
Oh, f***'s sake.
I was a teenager in the early 2000s, and I was a lazy-ass high school student who hated school, but I was smart enough to stay up all night goofing off and still coast through all my classes.
What's 47 divided by 3?
Except math. Back in the 2000s, staying up all night was amazing and a total vibe. I actually really kind of miss those days. Why don't we take a look back at one of the best eras to be a kid and why it was awesome?
Wait, hang on. What have you tried so far? Have you tried a lullaby? Let's give that a try.
I don't think that...
Rock-a-bye, Captain, on the ship's bridge. When the solar flares collide with us, the castle will be radiated a smidge. You'll get poisoning, and then you'll die, and I'll be alone, and so glad I could cry.
What the fuck? A huge chunk of my time in the early 2000s was spent in two ways: Battle.net or BNet if you're nasty, and MSN Gaming Zone. If you're not familiar, MSN Gaming Zone was a website and web client created by a group of guys back in 1996, which was quickly acquired by Microsoft. It started out as The Village before being bought, and it was renamed to Internet Gaming Zone by Microsoft, and then subsequently renamed several more times, but the time I spent with it was during the MSN Gaming Zone era. So you'd log in, and right there on your PC would be a table-based matchmaking platform for a number of different popular games at the time, most notably Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2, and Age of Empires. Now you'd either be invited to a table or just pop into one randomly and hope that the players there didn't harass you into leaving. And then the host would launch the game and it would trigger your PC to fire it up as well, assuming you had a copy of said game, or a burn copy from a friend, and a really good CD key generator. I spent a ridiculous amount of time playing Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, to the point where I was in a clan, I made some amazing friends that I talked to every single day, and we'd built up the reputation for being bad-ass mofos that would clean house if we popped onto your table. Shout out to Rogue Alliance, what's up guys, hope you guys are doing well. I would start playing after dinner and would stay up all night playing Dark Forces 2, chatting with friends all over the world, and just being in this amazing circle of nerds just like me. And I was damn good at lightsabers. I knew a trick where you could check the ping of other players in the game with a console command and then figure out the lag bubble to time your swings to get past their defenses and have them walk into the attack. I was unstoppable. I was f***ing baller at Jedi Knight. Shout out to Masasi Temple, which was the site back in the day we all went to for mods, skins, and new maps to kill each other in. It was amazing. Man, do I really miss the Jedi Knight community. And then, in the summer of 2000, this little game came out that hardly anybody ever played. Now, of course, I am being facetious. Diablo 2 was a goddamn gigantic deal when it came out in June of 2000. Everybody I knew who played video games played it. I'd meet up with my buddies in town several times a month for LAN parties in somebody's garage or living room, and we would play Diablo 2 without fail. A lot of the kids I played Jedi Knight with jumped into Diablo 2. I spent so many nights that summer in my bedroom with the lights off, with emergency supplies of water, juice, Gatorade, and Pop-Tarts, up all night doing runs on the bosses that we thought dropped the best loot. Or I'd start a new character to mess around with and get it rushed up to max level by friends. Or we would just wander around the game endlessly killing monsters while we talked over voice chat. The internet was possibly in its best era ever. It was a time where the possibilities felt endless and everybody was usually pretty cool and nerdy like me, and the sharing of ideas, creativity, and whatever media we were into at the time had not yet given way to information being gated by paywalls and the pits of disinformation and anger that we call social media today. I would honestly give just about anything for the kids of today to experience the internet like I did and all those all-nighters back then. I'd also give just about anything to be able to fall asleep.
Yes, I'd give just about anything to get you the out of here.
What?
Oh, nothing. Have you tried reading in bed, or a glass of hot milk, or...
Goldblum, do we have a gas leak? What's going on? Hold on, I'll run down to engineering and I'll...
No. Why don't you just relax and, take some deep breaths, clear your mind, and, see if maybe you'll fall.
Goldblum, is this sleeping gas?
No, but, you're not up for any probation officer meetings or job interviews in the next 3 to 5 days, are you?
Goldblum, is this... This is weed vape, isn't it? Goldblum, you know that I would have already tried an edible if my THC tolerance wasn't super high.
Yes, I'm sure it made you very popular in high school.
And speaking of altering one's mind, the early 2000s were formative for me in a lot of ways creatively. It was one of the best eras ever for movies and TV shows, hands down. When I was 17, I was well past my time wanting to be a paleontologist when I grew up, and instead I wanted to make movies. So when I wasn't playing video games all night back then, I was working on my film education. Kevin Smith became an early hero, a guy who wrote and shot his own feature on his own dime a few years prior in the store where he worked his day job, and he struck gold. God, I watched Clerks, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy over and over, imagining me and my friends someday making movies and making a living doing it. Big theatrical movies like Gladiator, Fight Club, Memento, and American Psycho all released early on in the 2000s, and they bookended my unquenchable thirst for movies of all kinds. I started really getting into horror movies at that time that scared me as a kid, and I was watching stuff like Tobe Hooper and Wes Craven, Sam Raimi movies, Takashi Miike, and John Carpenter all worked their terrible, bloody, wonderful magic on screen. I discovered people like Richard Linklater and Sofia Coppola who were making movies that I almost felt like I could make if I had any real talent or real world experiences or, a job at the time to buy a camera. I would literally take notes while watching movies all night and brainstorm ideas for things to do in my multimedia class in my junior year of high school. We had the best teacher ever, shout out Mr. who saw passion and potential in me and two other friends and basically let us take a camera wherever we wanted and go shoot stupid, awesome stuff either on campus during class or take the camera and go out and shoot stuff over the weekend. I would eventually end up in film school a little ways down the road, but that's a story for another time. When I was still a teenager though, another late night sorts of media had captivated the attention of people my age and turned us on to things like anime that just wasn't made to sell merchandise, and subversive humor the likes of which we hadn't really seen anywhere else. I'm talking, of course, about...
Adult Swim. All kids out of the pool.
So I actually did a video a while back about a bunch of anime that people should watch if they don't think they like anime. And several of these shows I first discovered on Adult Swim late night on Cartoon Network. The likes of Cowboy Bebop, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and many more would catch my eye while flipping through the channels, and I would stop and watch. And eventually realized that anime wasn't just hyperactive zany stuff for kids and for selling video games and action figures. And it also wasn't just for perverts. Then I actually started to get interested and invested and seek out more stuff on my own. Thanks to Adult Swim, I would find stuff like Ghost in the Shell, Iria Zeiram the Animation, Ninja Scroll, and everything ever made by Hayao Miyazaki. And all kinds of other stuff that expanded my understanding of what anime was in a lot of ways, and what animation in general could be. I still don't love the super crazy tropish anime aside from stuff like Dandadan, but I now have a huge appreciation for anime in general. And of course, there were the William Street shows. Now, I make no bones about the fact that Space Castle is largely influenced and, honestly, largely aped from the likes of Mystery Science Theater 3000, but this show's other main influence is without a doubt Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
I I enjoy talking to you.
Yes, you do, but like I said, this space war, what can I do? Aliens.
Yeah?
Yeah, so you have to go now.
Okay.
The wildly hilarious adventures of Space Ghost Zorak and Moltar, and the surreal and hysterical celebrity interviews on the show are still some of my favorite television of all time. The likes of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Sea Lab 2021, Robot Chicken, and the Venture Brothers today are still quoted by me and my best friends whenever we joke around. There was something absolutely punk rock and electric about what William Street was doing at the time, in junction with Adult Swim and Cartoon Network, and everybody I knew back in the 2000s was a fan. Alone in my room with a blanket over my head, trying not to laugh at shows on Adult Swim so loud as to wake up everybody in the house, is a quiet, peaceful, joyful memory that I will always cherish. Staying up all night and playing video games, chatting with friends, and watching TV and movies were massively important to me. I should have either been sleeping or studying, but in a lot of ways, those quiet times alone were where I was discovering my passions and forming a big part of who I am as an adult, for better or worse. If you're someone who was a teenager in the 2000s, I'd love to hear if you and I had a similar experience. And I would especially love to hear from the older and younger crowds and see how our experiences lined up as teenagers.
That was actually really nice.
Hey, thanks, Goldblum.
Oh, listen, if you can't sleep, you may as well make yourself comfortable. I was saving this for a special occasion, but I've got some Ecto Cooler here. I know it's one of your favorites.
Ecto Cooler? And it's still good? That's amazing! Thanks, buddy! How did you even get a hold of this? Oh! Goldblum? Goldblum, this is fucking watered down NyQuil. Really? Again?
Oh, yes, finally. Now back to work. Yes, oh, yes, finally. My life's work is complete. I have Chloe from the original Bratz dolls, and my collection is complete. Yes, oh, yes, ooh, and it was only $3,000.